What's going on, everybody? Neo Synapse, and you are inside the Synaptic. Today I want to talk to you guys about controlling. I see a lot of controllers out there, and they're 103 CR and they don't know the basics because it's so easy to level up these days. So I want to talk about that for a little bit. Right now I'm Quantum, so we'll be using that as the basis. I just want to be clear, I'm not trying to say I'm all advanced and all of that stuff. I just want to give a basic guide for controllers. Alright, so let's get into the points here to spend. Alright, so in the power points, let's get into the iconic powers. You're absolutely going to need the dominance and the vitalization from the iconic tree here. There's almost never a need to not get these. It doesn't even make sense. It's an extra what, 25 dom, 50 vit, and 100 power for 2 points. So get those first and foremost. Next up, we got in the space tree here the power over time move. Power over time is exactly that. It gives power back to the group over a period of time. So let's see how that works here. Buy that. That's it. You cast power over time, or POT as it's called, and you get the little lightning bolt under your name there, and everybody in your group should have that lightning bolt. Trying to spend some power here so you can see the ticks. So my POT gives me 247 power back with every tick, and gives the group that much power back as well. Okay, now there's something called a double tick that a couple people showed me about. Dark Horus showed me this, as well as a couple other people that I know. Spend some power here to show you that. It usually drops on, not usually, it drops on every 5th tick. So you cast power over time, that's 1. That's 2. 3, 4, and then here comes the double tick. Cast it again. There you go. 2 ticks of 247. So that's what you want to do. If you are the lead troll, if you have the highest vit in your raid, you're gonna cast POT and push power. And then try to remember, every 5th tick you're going to cast POT again. That will give you an extra tick. Both trolls in the raid, regardless of who's doing POT, both trolls got to push power. The responsibility of a controller is pretty much crowd control and giving power back to the group. It's not just being a battery. You'll also have to do crowd control. But the battery portion is pretty important, the way these raids are set up these days. So this is the push power move for Quantum. Spend some power here. There it goes. And every time you do that, you give power back to the people with the 3 people with the least power in the group. You don't give any back to yourself, but you give to the people with the least power, the 3 people. You can clip your power over time move with the push power move. So that's usually a good way to keep power up. Alright. Debuffs. We're gonna spend some points to get some of the debuffs here, but for the bad guys in these raids, the bosses mainly debuffs. You want to the main one is the defense debuff. That means you're going to lower the defense of the bosses so that the DPSs can do more damage. Other debuffs include healing over time and their damage output debuffs. The damage output and the healing debuffs, they're fine, but they're very well, there are only certain situations you can use them in. You're not going to use them for that effect in many raids. You know, in Nexus you'll use them before Lex starts pulling everything in order for that damage to be negated or lessened. In Paradox, one of the bosses, you're gonna have to put a healing over time debuff on him. I mean, other than that, you're really not going to use those, but it's good to have them because you never know what new content is going to come out, or if your group isn't geared, or over geared rather. You know, if your group is just geared enough to complete the content, you might use some of these things in order to get a little advantage. Crowd control, based on whatever controller power you have, you're gonna have to find whichever power is stun. You know, sometimes the debuff power is stun as well, so that's also good. You can streamline how you do things if you look at it that way. And your supercharge, most controller powers have a shielding supercharge. You know, it protects from damage and it gives power over time on top of the power that you're giving. Some do not have that, and they have to use Wisdom of Solomon. I think it's not what it's called. I forget what it's called. It's in the iconic tree. It doesn't protect from damage. It heals you, and it gives power over time. But those supers are very important as well. Let's see what we got here. I like to call that one the A and B stun. Distortion wave for quantum. Stuns everything in a 360. It's probably the best stun for that particular instance. Let's order some stuff here. So we got purity, we got a push power. Let's get singularity in there. Supercharge. And your shielding, yeah. Try to have a shield in your loadout, because it's generally the controller's job to pick people up should they fall. Okay, so that's your POT, that's your push power. Gotta get a little closer for this one. This one is the healing debuff. There you go. There's a little red heart underneath the target. That means he cannot heal like he was. That is the defense debuff. You see a red shield under his name. It's the healing again. Push power. Defense debuff. Healing again. Alright, so let's get something else in there. The damage debuff. Let's get that one. Let's see how that one looks. Switch that out for a Q-Bear wave. There it is. It's a red reticle underneath the target's name. Anything red under the target's name is good. Only time you don't want to see, especially a defense debuff on a boss, is if there's not enough power to to do that, and especially keep your healer and tank with enough power to do what they have to do. Because if they go down, that's it. Group pretty much wipes. There's a lot of talk about which one is more important, you know, controllers, tank, DPS, healer. I don't really think any of that matters. I think it's a nice little check and balances system. If the controllers go down, there's no power for the healers to heal, for the tanks to tank, for the DPS to burn. The DPS goes down, and you're not going to burn anything. The healer goes down, you're all going to die. The tank goes down, you're all going to die. So you want to build your power back when you're in a raid or alert. You're pushing power, like I said, but you don't get power back from that push. All you get is from the POT. So what you want to do is use build up a hit counter. Building up a hit counter builds your power back faster. So that's what you want to do to keep your power up. So you work on a rotation. You pop your POT, you push power, you do a little weapon combo. You put some debuffs on the boss, whatever the case is, stun adds, that kind of stuff. Use a shield when you need to. Keep moving. And keep pushing power. That's the most important thing. POT and pushing power. If you're a lead troll, make sure you keep POT up. If you are secondary troll, make sure you keep pushing power. And generally speaking, you want to divide the responsibilities. Usually the lead troll is responsible for POT and pushing powers, and maybe one of the debuffs if you guys decide that. Otherwise, the debuffs are the secondary troll's job. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. Kind of rambling, but you know, that's how it goes. Good luck.